Welcome to Code Revisitor. Today we will start with a new topic that is Azure Service Bus. So what I'm planning to cover today is to go through the Azure Service Bus documentation. We will try to get as much information as possible from the documentation. So let us start the session by going to the Azure Service Bus documentation from in the portal. So let me start with Service Bus in Azure. So my method of teaching is I'm trying to give uh, different approach to the approach to understand this Azure Service Bus. So we'll go like how a layman tries to understand, meaning how an individual tries to explore Azure Service Bus right from basic to advanced topics. So let's say a developer searches a service bus in Azure and he wants to understand the topics. So he will just type service bus in Azure. So what are all the results he get? Generally, you will get service bus documentation, service bus documentation in the result itself. So let us try to explore what are all the available features in Azure Service Bus here. So first thing, like what is Azure Service Bus? It is a fully managed enterprise integration message broker. Uh, what is the use case, like common use case for Azure Service Bus here? Let us say we are connecting applications to each other. So, front-end application and back-end processing, we need to bridge the gap between the two so that there is a seamless communication between the two applications. How do we do that? We use Azure Service Bus in such cases where a front-end application will push the message to Service Bus queue and it will trigger the backend processing application to process that message that was delivered by the front-end web app. So that is a common use case that we usually see in the enterprise level applications. And what are all the other things that we can do here, like load leveling? Let us say there are huge amount of traffic being received by the application. So handling such spikes that can be optimized or minimized by moving the messages to queue so that the service bus trigger tries to process them one by one in the same order that they have received. So that is achievable because we are going to process all the messages, but since there is a spike in the traffic, there can be huge number of messages. In order to process all the messages, we will put that in the service bus queue, and the processor will try to process the messages one by one. In that way, we are able to process all the messages even though there is a spike in the traffic. Okay, so that is one of the use case here. So we also have pricing tiers. So Azure resources are divided into three pricing tiers. So basically, it is based on the features and whatever use case we have. Based on that, we can decide which pricing tier we can like good for our implementation. So in the basic tier, we have limited features. It is suitable for simple scenarios. And in the standard one, which is most commonly used, like widely used across the organizations, the standard tier, and it has flexible scaling, meaning as many resources it requires for scaling, it can add, and based on that, we will be charged. And we also have a premium tier. It is for high performance applications and it can like we can expect up to 100 MB messages in premium tiers. It also has a virtual network support, which is like uh, a top level feature when it comes to enterprise level applications. So to come to give an overview, like in one line statement for Service Bus is it is a system that is useful when there is a use case where we want to process something in an asynchronous way. Let me repeat that. It is a system that is useful in cases where we want to process something in an asynchronous way, meaning we have application 1 and application 2. So application 2 is a processor that is going that job is to fetch the received payload, process something, update the DB, and notify the users. So that is a processor. Now there is application 1. Its role is to uh, create that payload. So let us say that application 1 is being triggered from an UI, and let's say there are 100 users accessing the UI and creating the payload. Now, like we have seen systems that usually crashes because 100 API calls are being triggered, and we are trying to process 100 payloads, and 100 DBs updates are happening at the same time. But when it comes to service bus messages, so each time a payload is getting created, we will send it to the service bus queue, and the queue properties is designed in such a way that it will be FIFO, first in, first out. So once the message gets delivered to the service bus, the processor is continuously listening to that queue. Whenever a message is being received, it will pick up that message and process it. So that's one overall picture about service bus queue. But we can also try to understand what are all the mechanism available inside service bus. So we have two types inside the service bus. One is queues. So whatever we have been I have been explaining till now was about service bus queues. So wherein a message from the sender is getting delivered to the queue and the receiver picks up, which is why I mentioned that it is a FIFO model. So first message getting received, and the subsequent messages get stacked up, but receiver picks up each messages one by one. So it also has like session enabled, session disabled methods, so that we will cover in the later on topics. Uh, Moving on, apart from queues, we also have topics. So what is a topic? It is the same as queues, but here in this case, there will be one topic and we can have multiple subscriptions attached to the topic. But why there is multiple subscription here is, let us consider a use case where we have a payload that needs to be processed based on some properties. Let us say for uh, create product, update product, and delete product, we are creating the three different payloads, and we need to process that with the uh, particular processor. For example, there is three processors: create product processor, update product processor, and delete product processor. Now, if we go with queue model in that case, so we cannot segregate which receiver to pick up based on the queue messages. So we can implement that use case using topics and subscriptions. Why? Because it will be one topic that is going to expect the payloads. So all the three payloads can be pushed to the same topic, but it will have three subscriptions. So each subscription will have a filter applied to it. Filter is nothing but it will be applied on the message properties. So we will cover what message properties are in the next coming topics. But just to give you an overview, a message will have its own set of properties. So we can set a custom variable in those properties and apply that in the subscription filter query. So let us say there is a property processor type, and we set as create processor type update and processor type delete on these three payloads. So when it comes to the topic, each subscription has its own set of filters available. So it will try to pick only the message that has that particular that matches that filter. For example, processor one, which is for create product, will look for the messages with that with that property. So it will pick up only those messages. So in that way, these three receivers are separate receivers that is tied to a subscription of the topic. How they are tied? It is tied by the filter applied to that subscription. So we also like we can also discover what are topic filters and those actions and all. We also have many features available in the service bus. So we'll cover that in the later on sessions. So that's about it for this session. I just wanted to give you an overview on the service bus. Let us know in the comment like what other things we can discuss in the coming sessions, and if there is any specific topics you want me to cover, you can let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like share this tutorial with others. Thank you.